Hello, everyone, and welcome back to NFL Playoff Pick'em. I'm Jake Biggie Mills, and I'm joined, as always, by EJ Samuel. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'd be doing even better if it wasn't 11:44 at night. But we have football, but I can't wait for the weekend because it means I get to chill out and watch football.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So, yeah, we're in the divisional round now. A couple surprises here. Let's have a look at our results from last week. So I went 3-3. I got the Ravens beating the Steelers, right? Eagles beating the Packers. I have a lot to talk about later on that. The Bills and the Broncos, Bills winning that game, which at the beginning we didn't think was going to be like that if you watch that game. And then I got Tampa Bay beating Washington wrong. Um, Still not sold on Washington. We'll get on that later. And then how about the Vikings? Every single one of us got that one wrong just to get that out of the way. Oh my. Oh,
Mm,
oh. And I also got the Chargers. That's another one too. The Chargers
yeah,
losing to the Houston, losing to the Texans.
that's a tough one.
What?
That's a tough one.
Yeah. And then you went 4-2, and the only two that you got wrong were Minnesota and
And
the
the
Chargers.
Chargers, yeah.
And then Zach went 4-2, and what are the two they didn't get right? Tell me.
Yeah. Chargers, Minnesota.
Yep. And same thing. Jake Jones, all of them right except Minnesota and, uh, and the Chargers. And your brother went 3-3 as well. So me and him are tied for last.
Split in the middle of the pack. All right.
And he got, he obviously got the two that everyone else got wrong, Minnesota and the Rams. But the other one he got wrong was the Steelers beating the Ravens. That was a
He's
bold one.
optimistic.
Yeah, that was a
He's
bold one.
optimistic every
Yeah,
single year.
that was a
He's
bold one.
also He'll also be really mad at Mike Tomlin, but then be a Mike Tomlin apologist at the same exact time in front of everybody. But behind closed doors, he's whatever, man.
It's
Shout out
funny.
Webby. Love you, brother.
All right. Well, now let's get into our picks for this week's divisional round game. So,
Boy, what crazy games we've got, huh?
oh, for sure, for sure. So, why don't we have you start? Because I started last week, right?
Yeah.
So you could
All
start
right.
this week. So we're gonna start off with our first game of the week on Saturday, the Chiefs and the Texans. Who do you got?
So the Chiefs and the Texans. Let's just be real, folks. Nobody saw the Texans beating the Chief or beating the Chargers, and I sure as heck don't see them beating the Chiefs. Um, I don't know what happened as far as the Chargers game. Lots of
I know.
defensive turnovers, lots of sloppy play the Texans were able to capitalize on. But don't let this fool you. They still don't have a lot of their main guys. They don't have a lot of their main weapons. They're going into Arrowhead, and it's going to be freezing friggin' cold.
Yep. Tough
And
environment.
it's just not a good environment to be in. Um, I could get all statistical fancy on you, but it's 11:47 at night and I don't have the brain power to do it. But you all know what's going to happen. You
Yeah,
all know what's going to
we all
happen.
know.
This is going to be the Chiefs. And I know I'm not the only one who's taking the Chiefs in this. In fact, I'd be surprised if anybody took the Texans. This is the Chiefs by at least 20 points. You heard it here first. Patrick Mahomes is back. He had a week for him to just settle down and get that leg and ankle taken care of because that
Yep.
was lingering. He's fine. He's fine. Do I think the Chiefs are going to make the Super Bowl? We'll see how they play against Houston, but this is the Chiefs by 20 points at least.
All right. Well, I put that down the notes, and that just reminded me. I didn't go over the people who are not on the show's picks. My apologies. And you're gonna be really surprised here. You ready for this?
I'd love to hear. I didn't even get to really read my brother's picks, so
Yeah. Um, our buddy Zach here took Houston over Kansas City.
Zach,
So
you moron.
we'll see. We'll see if it holds up. But
Dak, dude, brother, man, why? That's
yeah, and then
so bad.
and then ready for this one. He has the Commanders over the Lions too.
That is more
It's more
likely
valid
than
than
the
the
other
first
one.
one. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Then he has the
It,
Eagles,
and
the
listen,
Rams, Eagles over the Rams, and Bills over the Ravens.
if he gets the Houston one, I'll give him credit because I am
Yeah,
one to give credit where credit is due, but I
absolutely.
just don't see it happening, my brother. I don't.
Yeah, I agree with
It
that.
ain't it, my friend.
Yep. And then Jake Jones here, he picked Kansas City over the Texans, Lions over Commanders, Eagles over the Rams, Bills over the Ravens. And then your brother, he picked Isaiah, he picked the Chiefs over the Texans, Lions over Commanders, Eagles over the Rams, and the Ravens over the Bills. That's the one that's a little differential from everybody else.
Interesting.
That's an interesting pick. I vibe with it though. I do. I do. But yeah, so let me get into my talks about the Chiefs and the Texans now. Yes, I agree. You know, I don't know what happened. I think that was a fluke game for the Chargers. I don't know what happened. Just very sloppy game, very unexpectedly sloppy game from them. And the Texans just really, like you said, they capitalized on every opportunity they had because they had a lot and they sure as heck capitalized. And I think the Chiefs, Mahomes gets to rest that ankle a little bit, and they're going to come out hot and win in Arrowhead by a decent margin. I think the Texans' run is over here, but I will say, even if you know, I'll talk about it later because it gets me into my future picks. So I'm taking the Chiefs though for sure.
I have a method to the madness.
Okay, what is
I
it?
hope everybody was watching me do that
I didn't see
while Jake
it.
was making his pick. Hold on. Go ahead.
All right, all right. So should I? So you go? Are you going now, or do you want me to go? What's going on here?
You're going.
Okay, all right, all right.
You're
So
going.
so our next game here is the Commanders and Lions. Now look, I doubted the Commanders last week and they won. I said I was not sold on them, and folks, I'll be honest with you, I'm still not sold on the Commanders. People are, if anybody was watching this, I'm still not sold on the Commanders. I'm sorry, I can't pick a rookie quarterback who's very good, by the way, Jaden Daniels. I can't pick that young team. I just don't think they're there yet. I really don't. They're a great team, and the future looks really bright in Washington. Don't get me wrong. This franchise is on the rise, and they're going to be good in the coming years. But I just don't think, especially the Detroit Lions, because if they play like they should, and don't have a complete meltdown like the Vikings did, it's not going to be a great game for the Commanders in Detroit. So I'm taking the Lions. Commanders, I'm still not sold on you this year, but I think for the future, it's really, really bright for Washington. So EJ, I see your hat. Talk to me, brother.
Well, Jake, I gotta tell you, I know who I'm taking.
I
If
think I
it's
do
not
too.
already obvious, it's not the Washington Commanders. It
Whoa,
is not
whoa,
the Washington Commanders. They're
whoa.
actually not going to win this game. I don't
Okay,
know if you
good.
guys know this, folks, but Jaden Daniels is rookie quarterback. And as good as he is, and as fast as he is, and elusive, and really, let's just be real, as much of a leader so far as he is, I'm going to put my Penguins beanie back on, even though they lost to Laval in
Yeah, to
overtime
Laval
tonight.
tonight. Oh, that was an
Um,
overtime game. I saw the final score. I didn't see anything else.
yeah, they lost in overtime. It was not interesting. It was interesting.
That's
You
okay.
know what else is interesting?
What?
Washington going to Detroit. Now,
Yeah, okay.
don't get me wrong. This game is not going to be a blowout. Matter of fact, this is going to be the closest game all weekend. I
I
promise.
can agree with that.
It's going to be the closest game all weekend. Now, but contrary to the popular belief from Eagles fans that Washington is just going to go in and get slaughtered, and that's not saying that you said that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no,
I
no, no,
got
I
you,
know.
Jake, but there is some bias from you, and
A
you
little
can't
bit.
say
And
there's
and
not.
also wait, can I make a point here? The reason why I say this is because, the Eagles lost against the Commanders in that game where Jalen Hurts went down. But if you watched up until he got hurt, we had them on lock. It was like we were up what 14-0, like really early on. And even Kenny Pickett on his first drive scored, and we got up like 21-0. I just think,
You say that as if Kenny Pickett is actually terrible. The
I don't think
league
he's
and the meme,
terrible.
the league
Listen,
and the meme pages want you to believe he's terrible.
I never liked him. You know that. You know my stance on Kenny Pickett. That's not relevant right now, but you know my stance on him, and he didn't do too bad for us. But I think Tanner McKee's better. I'm going to say that right now as a backup. I would take Tanner McKee over Kenny Pickett.
And I would say that your dormitory person needs to come in and give you a drug test and check your room for drugs. Is what I would need to say, because that is blasphemous. I can't believe you even said that. Don't
What I
believe
think.
Ghetto Gronk, folks.
Ghetto
Don't
Gronk
believe Ghetto
or
Gronk. He's
Antonio
the
Brown.
or Antonio Brown. Both of them have something in common. They obviously have issues that they need to resolve.
DE.
Long story short, Dan Campbell's a fantastic coach in Detroit.
Awesome.
He's very, very good. Could be my favorite coach in the league. He reminds me of Bill Cowher. That's not why, but he is a fantastic coach. Hard-nosed football in Detroit. This is their Super Bowl to lose this year. Seriously. I have never felt more comfortable of a team winning the Super Bowl than I do in the Detroit Lions. And Washington's going to make it a close game. I think Jaden Daniels is fantastic. I think their coaching staff is finally turning around and looks like they're going to finally start doing things. And I don't have to hear about the Eagles being NFC East champions anymore starting next year, hopefully.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's going to be a close game. But I honestly think that Detroit's going to get this one because it's their Super Bowl. They're unstoppable.
yeah.
They're unstoppable.
They're so good.
I don't see a
Such a good
way
team.
that they lose. I don't. And if they
Yeah,
do, then crazy. But I just
absolutely.
don't see it, folks. Let's just call a spade a spade. This is going to be Detroit by 10,
Yeah,
and that's going to be that.
yeah,
They don't need to run the score up. They just need to get to the next round. That's what
yeah.
Detroit needs
They
to
need to
do.
get to the NFC
Slow and
Championship
steady.
game.
They have never had a team like this before,
Nope.
and they need to take advantage of it. And Dan Campbell knows that.
Yeah, and the
10-point game for
city of
Detroit.
Detroit deserves it. They really do after all
Hmm.
those years. But yeah. So yeah, I we're in agreement there. Again, the Commanders really bright future, but just not there yet. I'm not 100% sold on them making the NFC Championship game this year. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but definitely a very bright future in Washington. All right,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
let's move on. The Birds. I have a lot to talk about. I am not happy. I'll be honest with you. I'm
I
not
would not
happy.
be happy either. I watched the game
I
too. Go ahead.
I have a lot to say. If you are a real true Eagles fan, if you're a real fan, you watch every game, you know football, you're not one of those people that just watches the team. If someone in your family likes them and you're like, oh my God, they won. Woohoo. If you watch that game and you're a real Eagles fan, you should be pissed off. You should not. I had no smiles on my face after that game. Yes, we won. We moved on. But we played so bad. And I I don't know how the Packers played even worse. Their players were dropping like flies. I feel bad for Packers fans, man. The way we played, they should have beat us by two scores at least, at most two scores. I don't I have any words. They need to pick it up. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I don't know if Jalen Hurts was just a little off. I don't know if he's 100%. He didn't look it. And they had Saquon on lock. So you take away Jalen Hurts' ability to play at 100%, that takes the receivers out of it. And, you put, take the receivers out of it. You have Saquon, but Green Bay's defense locked in on Saquon, and it showed. And if Jalen Hurts is not at 100% in LA, now listen, I think they're going to win no matter what, but it's going to be a very tight game. It's not going to be the Eagles win by two scores. Saquon goes for almost 200. It's not going to be one of those games, folks. It's really not. You watch how they played last week. It is going to be a tight game. It's going to be close. I feel like there's going to be a point where we're down in this game. I'm calling that right now. It's a little bit of a weird take, but I think the Eagles will be down in this game at one point, and they'll win, but it's going to be a very tough game. And if Detroit wins, and if the Eagles play like they did, there's no Super Bowl this year. I'm saying that as an Eagles fan. I hate to say it because I love this team, and this team this year is special. Saquon Barkley has had one of the biggest redemption seasons we've ever seen. Jalen Hurts is fantastic when he's 100%. Our defense is, oh, it's so good. Vic Fangio is doing great things in Philly, but man, it pains me to say that I think they win this week, but if they play Detroit for the NFC Championship, it's going to be a loss, especially if we see the full Detroit Lions team. It's gonna be a loss, and I don't think the Eagles make the Super Bowl this year unless they surprise me and they play like they have all year. Saquon goes off, Jalen Hurts looks like himself again. Then I could say they're in the Super Bowl, but I don't see that happening. I'm going to take the Eagles though, but I think we make the NFC Championship and it's the end of the road. It pains me to say that because I love this team. This team this year is so special, but man, it's just that game, I can't be optimistic after the Green Bay game, and that's what I had to say.
Anything else?
That's about it. I just wasn't
Okay.
happy.
I'm going to send you to the front desk lady, and she could write you a bill. I was just I was just a therapist, folks.
Yeah,
Just a therapist. I get it. That's why yellow makes me sad, I think.
that's
Okay.
that was like you with the
Look.
Steelers last week.
Yes. Yes, sir. So I guess we trade off there.
Yeah,
Guess it's my turn to talk, huh?
yeah, about this game.
So I watched the Eagles game as well. As much as I can't stand the Eagles, I couldn't help but feel bad for their fans for having to suffer through that whatever that offensive performance was.
Right.
For one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL, I didn't really see much explosion at all.
Hmm.
Could it be the curse of the terrible towel that is still lingering to this very day and will probably linger when you either drop this game or drop the next one in terrible, heartbreaking fashion? I don't know. Could it be the fact that uh, Big Dom was the only guy in the Eagles personnel in general that did their job? I don't know. I don't know. Shout out to, by the way, Big Dom for taking care
Go
of that and all
love
of
Big
your.
Dom.
And unlike Jake, other Eagles fans are actual complete garbage, which
Well,
everybody knew.
we're gonna
Some of
talk
them.
about our one guy. I don't remember his name, but that jerk off.
Yeah, yeah, him and about 95% of the other fans. Jake's in the 5%. Jake's a nice boy. He
Thank
knows
you.
what he's doing. He goes to Eagles games and he's
I
very
wish I went to Eagles games, but
now
I
they're too
watch Eagles
expensive.
games. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it'd take a
And he's
mortgage
very
out to go there.
respectful and he's very nice and he craps on the Cowboys like everybody and he does what he's
Well, of
supposed to
course, yeah.
do.
Who doesn't?
Anyway, looking at this game, folks, the Rams, I mean, who would have thought that one, I got it wrong? Everybody here got it wrong. Everybody got it wrong.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
here's what I saw in that game, that Vikings Rams game. First of all, if you're going to even try and blame that wildfire, whatever, that they had to move the game, you're
Completely wrong.
you're just you're wrong.
It had nothing
You're,
to do
you're
with it.
wrong.
Like the location
Nothing
of
to
the
do with
game
it.
has nothing to do with that. If anything, I feel
Nothing
like
to
they'd
do
be a
with it.
disadvantage for the Rams because they're not in their home stadium,
Because they're
right?
not in their home stadium, and that turf sucks equally for everybody.
Yeah. In
Now,
Arizona, yeah.
here's what happened. You want to know how the Rams won? You know how the Rams won? They knew what they were up against. They planned all week. Surprise, if you plan and you practice, things happen.
True.
The Eagles, the Eagles went through the motions with the Packers. And dang it, they almost lost. Almost. Because if you saw that game, Jake said it, Packers should have won by more than one score.
Oh yeah.
The Eagles cannot come in sloppy here. They cannot come in sloppy. They cannot come in sluggish. They can prepare all they want, but if they come in sluggish, the Rams know how to take advantage. Stafford's done this before. He's
Oh yeah.
been here before. Puka Nakua
Dog.
gonna be a
Dog.
main factor, and if the defense for the Eagles does not step up, they were able to contain Jordan Love, who obviously was not 100%.
No,
They're not going to be able to
he didn't
stop
look good.
this. They're not going to be able to stop this weird. I don't know what McVay has changed, but something about the Rams offense looks different and could be a little perky. I think the Eagles are going to get it done.
Okay.
But I caution you, Eagles fans, and I caution the Eagles, not that they're watching this video, but if they ever do, I caution you because I'm right about a lot of things, especially on offensive football. Okay. You cannot go to one guy only. You have the most explosive offense in the league.
Yeah.
They're already going to stop Saquon Barkley. They're going to stop Saquon
Of
Barkley.
course. That's
Just
what teams have done
accept it.
all season. And you know what?
Accept it. You have to use other guys. AJ Brown has to be a main guy in your offense.
And here's something
Okay?
else I want to complain about, and this has been a problem all year.
Go ahead.
Why are we not using Dallas Goddard more in the
I was going to say
offense?
Dallas Scott. I was
Why?
literally about
They
to say
don't
Dallas
use
Scott.
him enough. I get it. We have a great receiving core. Don't get me wrong. We're good from AJ Brown to Jahad Dotson
I
to
was going to say
number
John
84 who
Dotson.
scored a touchdown against the Giants. I forget his name. We're good all on the board. But why? We have a great tight end too. We have another throwing threat. Use Dallas Goddard, please.
Dallas
He's
Goddard.
so good.
The Rams can only stop so much. They're going to sell out to stop the best running back in the league. Just save yourself the time now. Eagles are going to get this one done, but unfortunately, it may or may not come at a cost. And this might be I'm going to say this might be a 3-point game,
Yeah, I
Jake.
agree with you.
It
If
might
they
be,
play
or
like they did, absolutely.
or or it could be a blowout. It's going to be one or the other. It's either going to be a
Yeah,
field goal game or it's going to be a blowout. It's one or the
yeah,
other.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. And that's what I said earlier. I mean, if and I honestly I can't
Buckle up
like
too.
yeah, it
Buckle up.
might be a long game. But I don't want to make like excuses or anything, but I don't know if Jalen Hurts is 100%. He didn't look at it
He's
at all.
not.
He can't
And
be.
maybe you
There's
guys
no
should have thought
way.
about that before trashing the terrible towel.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, but yeah, I agree. If they play like that again, it will be a 3-point game, and that's it for them after that. But if they play like they should, as the most explosive offense, one of the most explosive offenses in the
The
NFL.
most explosive offense in the league.
Yeah,
The the
I didn't want to be biased, but yes,
No, no.
absolutely.
I'm a Steeler fan. I'll give it to you.
Absolutely. Uh, but yeah, give me the birds though in very close fashion. All right, let's move on to our final game and one that is going to be really, really good and very highly anticipated. The Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, MVP showdown. Who do you got?
Who do I have?
Yes,
Well, it might come to as a surprise to the might come as a surprise to some of the Steelers fans in the room that I do in fact own this Ravens Lamar Jackson jersey.
that's
Let me
crazy.
tell you something.
That's like me owning a Dak
That
Prescott
jersey,
jersey.
I own it because Lamar. I like Lamar. I
Fair
also like
enough.
Baker Mayfield when he played for the Browns. I like them as people. I
Fair
hate their
enough.
teams that they played for. So why did I show you my Lamar Jackson jersey? Because one, that's not the jersey they're going to be wearing as they are on the road. It's going to be the white one. But
True.
regardless, Lamar Jackson's jersey is going to be very, very dirty. Do you want to know why? I think the Bills defense is coming for him big time. They know it's coming. They watched
Oh
the
yeah.
Steelers game. They understand what exactly is happening. Lamar Jackson, let's just call a spade, folks, is one of a is one of the best running quarterbacks ever to play the game.
Absolutely.
These are one of the best running quarterbacks to ever play this game. And he knows he needs a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen because the Ravens, I think, are, and call me crazy if you want. And this is not me being biased. This is me being around the game of football in general for a while. I would call the Ravens defense not so much one dimensional, but predictable.
Yeah,
Here's why I say.
I kind of
Here
agree.
is why I say that.
Let's hear it.
Lamar Jackson scrambles all the time, runs all the time, designed runs for him. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to run Lamar Jackson. Sometimes they run our good buddy from Tennessee, Mr. I cut all my dreads off, Derrick Henry. Well, the run gets stale and old. And if you're not the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can actually be competent and make adjustments and stop that. If they think the Buffalo Bills defense are going to try and stop the run and they're going to have to be forced to throw to Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman the entire time, they're wrong. I don't even know what's going on with Zay Flowers. He might not even play again.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's just be honest here, folks. The Buffalo Bills have a home game in the snow. Baltimore doesn't play in the snow. Running, go ahead, good. They're not going to throw the ball, so they're going to get stuck if it snows as bad as it's supposed to snow. They're not going to throw the ball as much, so
Right.
that knocks Bateman out. And Bateman's mid, to be honest with you. He played a garbage Steelers defense with Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin at the helm. Get out of here.
Yeah,
They're playing a real team. They're playing a real team. I'm a Steeler fan, and I'm telling you, the Steelers sucked. I knew they were going to lose that game. Mike Tomlin should
yeah.
be fired, and I just want to say terrible things to Mike Tomlin and the Steelers right now. You know how I feel. They were garbage. The Ravens got a bye. They're playing a real team. Buffalo's going to kill them because guess what? Unlike the Ravens, Buffalo has multiple options, and they play in the snow all the time, so it's not like a big deal or anything.
Mhm.
This is going to be a showdown. Everyone's going to go, oh, Lamar Jackson, he's so good, and he's going to get flattened. And I like Lamar. I
You have his
own his
jersey as
jersey.
a Steeler fan.
I
Like,
own his jersey as a Steeler fan. I
yeah,
love Lamar Jackson.
yeah,
He is in for a hurting. Ronnie Stanley, blue coverage all game last time. And the rest of their offensive line, it is only a matter of time until you play a real defense like you're playing in Buffalo. I'm telling you, Lamar might get hurt. It could get really, really bad. Just
yeah.
stop the run, folks. Just stop the run, and you could beat the Ravens. Rashad Bateman had a game of his life because he was in a Swiss cheese secondary. That is why they looked as good as they did.
Oh yeah, no,
The
that's what
Steelers,
I want to
ready?
bring up.
The
Go ahead.
Steelers suck. That's it. That's what happens.
Yeah,
That's the review. Cool.
yeah, and it's crazy to me. Like I agree with you 100%. People like I said, MVP showdown. That's what people are saying. I think the Bills are
Josh Allen's too good, man.
they're too good. The Bills are
He's
too good.
too good.
They are
Too
too
good.
good. And yeah, the Steelers, it's just like I remember I brought this point up. They had such a good run and they just like the end of
Yeah.
the mid-season fall off or end of the season fall off. And
Oh, and
that
5
was
to end the year.
yeah, like
8 and
that's
11 playoff record. We
not
won't
even
talk
know
about
about
that
that.
though.
Yeah, like I don't know. They just looked really bad, and they made Derrick Henry look like Tennessee Titans Derrick Henry from 2020, and Lamar looked like the MVP. But you know what? I just don't think that's happening this week.
The
I
Bills
agree
make
with
adjustments.
the Bills are
Actually,
they're good. And you know what?
they have a head coach.
I don't want
I
to
didn't know if you
go.
knew that.
Was that? Wait, what?
I didn't know if you knew this, but the Bills actually have a head coach.
I know what you're
They
saying.
do.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, and I don't want to look too far ahead. I kind of was earlier with my Eagles pick. I'm gonna do it with my Bills pick too. My prediction is Chiefs Bills AFC Championship, and let's just say we'll talk about it farther and see how the games play out. But this is your year, Josh Allen. Get that ring for Buffalo. Break that curse.
They deserve it.
It's
They,
their year.
honest to God, they do deserve it. They
I'm
really,
telling you
really
right
do.
now, Bills
Everything they've
year.
been through, they got to deal with the Sabres.
Oh,
Come on.
oh,
Somebody's got to
Sabres.
win here.
I'm a Flyers fan, and I have sympathy for the Sabres because I know what that's
I
like.
do too. And they complain about the Stars all the time because the Stars beat them in the Stanley Cup Finals, which was a perfectly good goal. But we don't talk about that. We're talking about football right now.
Yes,
Buffalo deserves the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. If it's not Detroit, it's Buffalo. They
I
have to.
agree. I agree.
Somebody's
And
got to put us out of the freaking Chiefs misery because if I got to deal with another Swifty, I work at a top 40 radio station, folks.
oh yeah, no, he
If you
does.
think I don't hear
Look
about
at
the Chiefs and Taylor Swift every single day, you're wrong.
yeah,
I
and
hope the Chiefs get obliterated, but
I would
they
love
won't
that.
until they play the
And
Bills, hopefully.
it's not even the Swifty part. I just hate the Chiefs in general, and
I hate the Chiefs.
it's because they've become like you know how the New England Patriots
Yes.
were when we were
Oh,
growing up.
yes. Yes, of course.
That's
Of
how they
course.
are
And
now.
they're
I just can't
you
stand them.
think I know, and I hated them too. And then the Swifties came along and made it 10 times
Well, that's what
worse.
I'm saying, and it's sad because like I'm not the like I'll defend Taylor Swift a little bit. It's not her fault. It's the
It's not
NFL's
her
fault,
fault. I agree.
and it's her fans' fault because it's that's just how it is. And no offense to her, like I don't listen to her music personally, but I think she's very talented. It's not her fault. It's not, and I feel bad when they put it on her because it's not. But it kind of it ruined the Chiefs. And don't get me
It
wrong, when
did.
they and I love Andy Reid because his time with the Eagles was great. I love Andy Reid because he was the Eagles head coach when I was really getting into. I remember when they fired Andy Reid. I remember going to an Eagles game with my dad. I was 6 years old, and I remember a couple days later he's telling me, "Oh, the Eagles fired Andy Reid," and I'm like, my 6 year old me was like, "What?" Like
Yeah. It's
I
almost like the
remember
Steelers can do that with Mike Tomlin, but they won't.
they won't do it, and then the Chip Kelly era. Oh, I know we're getting off topic, but oh my
And now
God,
he's at Ohio State, too.
yeah,
And he's actually
about
competing
to
for a championship, unlike the Eagles.
about to win an Natty. Calling that. Let me bring that up. Ohio State's winning the national championship. Bring that up right now. I don't believe in
Okay.
the Irish.
I don't know yet. I want the Irish to win, but
I will. I've never wanted Ohio State to win a football game more in my life, and I'm not even a Penn State fan. I'm a Syracuse fan, as you guys all know.
no.
Diehard Syracuse football fan. Love that team to death, more than the Eagles. Even like college football, Syracuse football. That's my team. And Penn State's like a second favorite team because it's what I'm surrounded by in Northeastern PA all the time,
So
and they're fun to watch. And I hate Ohio State, and I've never wanted them to
join
win
the
a football.
Colt.
I've never wanted them to win a football game more in my life because I
Join the
hate
Colt.
Notre Dame like half of America hates Notre Dame because you know they're like, and I'm a Yankees fan. They're like the Yankees. I'm going all over the place, but
Wow,
I'm a
you're
I'm
really in there.
I'm a big Yankees fan. That's my favorite baseball team. And half of America, like, you either love the Yankees or you hate them. Notre Dame's the same way. You either love them or you hate them. I'm on the hating side of Notre Dame. I will always will
All you gotta do is become a Swifty, and you'd be in the top three most annoying fan bases in all of
be.
America.
Next to
You
Notre Dame
got
football.
you got Penn State, you've got Penn State, you've got the Yankees, and you'd be a Swifty. That's exactly what it is. The Swifties, they are a cult. I am fully
Yeah, they
convinced that
are.
they are a
They
cult,
are.
right?
They are.
We just love Taylor Swift and hate everybody that doesn't, but we're not a cult.
Pretty
We will
much.
take people down and ruin their life if they talk ill of our god Taylor Swift.
I agree.
That's like Penn State fans. They talked all this good stuff about Drew Aller. He threw that pick to Notre Dame, and
He
now
sold their
everybody can't
season.
stand him. It's a
Sold their
cult, my
season.
friend. That's all it is. It's a cult. It's all
uh
a cult.
yeah. But yeah,
Uh,
so yeah, that's our picks. Just to review, I picked the Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, and Bills to win, and EJ picked the Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, and Bills to win. So I'm at 3-3. You're at 4-2. We have we have ourselves a lot of ties here, so we might have to get into a Super Bowl total points tiebreaker once we get to that point if these stay the same. Because again, me and your brother are tied for last, and you, Zach, and Jake are all tied for they all have the same record. So we might have to do a tiebreaker at the end for the Super Bowl total
So
points
you don't.
scored in the game.
I'm just realizing something. You don't want Notre Dame to win because you don't want Jake to get annoying.
Not that. It's just I don't like them at all. I never did growing up. I had the kids I was friends with, and someone
Oh no,
lost his
you
channel.
scared of Jake. You scared of
You know
Jake.
what? I'll be real. He's one of the non-annoying Notre Dame fans. I'll
I
be
like Jake. Jake's a respectful sports
Shout
fan.
out
He's
Jake
good.
Jones. He is. Yes, he is. And
Shout out Jake
He's a
Jones.
Packers fan too. So
Ugh.
yeah.
Boy,
So
tough for him these past couple of years. My goodness.
I told him you're about to be 0-2 this month, buddy. Notre Dame
Mm,
and the Packers.
that's
But
tough.
yeah, but yeah, that's our divisional round picks. And yeah, that's gonna wrap it up here, guys. We'll see you guys next week for our conference championship games, and hopefully our records are hopefully we're not all tied again because I want to get some disparity here. Yeah,
Yikes.
yeah.
Not
All
looking
right.
good for the home crowd.
No, not at all.
No.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next Friday, 7 p.m.